Wait, reloaded. All right. So first of all, thank you all for coming on and actually like being a part of this. This was something, me and Kristen had talked about like a book club before prior. And so this month I really wanted us to just kind of full force with just really growing ourselves and pushing out of our comfort zone. And I know for so many of us, self-development is such a huge tool. And whether we've been doing self-development for a long time or we're just getting into it, I feel like when we set ourselves up successfully and get our minds right, we're filling our cup and just getting self-motivated, it really will set the tone, whether it's us running this business or just even our every day-to-day life, even when we're dealing with like life, kids, work, whatever the case may be. It's okay because I'm gonna so like the questions for chapter 1 are awesome, so like don't worry. So I was going to go over a couple little pin notes that I noticed from the introduction, and then chapter 1 was really good, and this is where I'm going to get you guys to share um and kind of go from there, and then like I'll end it with a challenge for all of us to kind of take forth, and anyone that catches this replay can also do this too. So something that she speaks of so clearly, obviously the title is Fearless and Fabulous. Her biggest thing is like to be fearless and, eliminating that fear in our minds. It's so powerful, especially when it comes to some of us that may have never done network marketing. I sort of dabbled in it in the past, but I didn't understand it fully. So for anyone that's like, so for me, technically, this was like brand new to me 2 years ago. So kind of doing network marketing and hearing all the stigmas of network marketing from other companies where they're cold messaging and just in your inbox, like, hey, you're pretty, join my team. It's very nerve wracking when you start a business like this and then you're like, okay, now I'm going to like share with my friends and social media about me embarking on this new journey. And it can be scary because you don't know how your friends are going to receive it. You don't know how your family is going to receive it. And you're worried about like colleagues and so forth just making that judgment because some people have their pros and cons of network marketers. So it can be scary. And one of the biggest things she talks about too is us dreaming big. And one of the big things she mentioned was achieve yourself to dream without limits. Sometimes I think we say a dream or we say a goal, like when we've done the vision board with Justin Shea, we've said things like, oh yeah, I would love for this to happen. We say it, but we in our mind will like kind of have like a roadblock, like, I don't know, like I'm gonna say it, but I don't believe in it. I don't believe that I can achieve that dream. And I know for me personally, I've been very guilty of that. I'll be like, oh yeah, I would love to do X, Y, and Z. But in my mind and in my heart, I'm still doubting myself because I'm afraid of the risk of jumping forward and taking that leap of faith and not thinking about it, you know? And one of her first questions is, let me add, all right. And one of her first questions she had asked was, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And that's something to think about, think in your mind during the week, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Like if you didn't have fear or doubt in your head, when it comes to running the business or chasing a dream that you might have, how much of a difference that could possibly make. So I definitely find that is so powerful. So the first chapter is titled Decide What You Want. So the first question, and everyone can either unmute themselves or if you raise your hand, I'll unmute you for you. But the two questions that is asked is, what do you want and what are your deepest desires? So whoever wants to unmute and share what you want and what your deepest desires are, that would be awesome. Kristen.
Well, I don't have my book, but so I haven't read it yet. I ordered it. It said 2 days, but now it's coming between the 12th and 19th. Anyway, but I know what I want. I want a thriving team of women and men that want to help other people get where they're in a better place in their life, and emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, all that. And what was the other question? Our deepest desire and what we want. Deepest desire would be walking across that millionaire stage. That's it.
That's awesome. I love that. Anyone else that wants to share? Go ahead, Rebecca.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So the what do you want? I'm going to just skip that and go to deepest desire. My deepest desire is I want my kids to be okay, mentally, physically, spiritually. And I feel like that all entails with me just being the healthiest me. Like when I'm not mentally healthy or confident, or doing well, like most of you guys know, like our marriage situation has been very rough. And that was like my why when I started was, if something were to happen with me and him, I want to be able to make sure that my kids are okay with me taking care of them as well. Like not just relying on anything we've ever gone through. Like he's not somebody that doesn't take care of them. Like he doesn't, you know what I mean? Like even when we were separated, he made sure everything was good. But I want, in case something were to ever happen, like God forbid, death, but in case something else were to happen, because we have a lot of single moms in here, you guys get it. I want to be able to provide for them in the best way possible, in a way that like I could still be present, but like be able to actually provide. And that's like everything with this. Like that's like our tribe, like the sisterhood. That's with me being able to step up and be a leader. That's the best way for me to step up and like not just, I'm good at being a leader in my actual like real life, but like kind of social media wise and like with my team, I don't know what it is. It's like very hard with that. So that's my thing. Like that's my deepest desire. And I feel like wants go in with all of that. That's it.
Oh, that's good. I like that because that's true, especially us as those single mamas. Is pretty much you've got this whole crew of single moms on here. So, Christina or Christy, go for it. What you want and your deepest desire. And it doesn't have to be business related. It can be personal related, like Rebecca.
Okay, I'll go since I'm walking, probably out of breath. But so what I want is to be so financially stable that we can do anything that we want to do without having to worry about not having enough for whatever it is. And my deepest desire is to actually start well, not really a compound, but I want to open up a place for abused women that are like either being removed from a situation or have left a situation and find themselves homeless or whatever, and they have kids, whatever that situation may look like. I want to have a safe place for them to come, get back on their feet, and whether it's going to school, get their finances in order, give them housing until they can get somewhere safe or whatever that looks like. But that's my deepest desire for now. So.
That's beautiful. I know. She's walking with her hoops. All right, Chris.
Okay, I guess that leaves me. I kind of don't really know how to separate want from desire because it all kind of falls under the same thing. But hold on. What? I'm a little quiet. No, I need to talk. So you just. Sorry, we're sharing room. We're sharing a bed right this second because my grandmother is staying at our house because they don't have power right now. But I've recently, through everything involving what's been going on in the world with COVID, I've kind of never felt more urgency to get out of my house. you know, being a single mom has not been easy financially. And I've been blessed for the past 5 years to have my parents, but certain things have popped up in mine and Colton's life that, like, we just need we need to be able to get out of this house. So I just want to hit a point where I am financially secure and able to start getting into that position for us to move out, preferably with my boyfriend, and start our journey in that aspect. So that was kind of all over the place, but I think you got it.
No, that was perfect. And sometimes that does happen. Our want and our desire can very much tie together. So I'll share mine. So for me, I want, kind of in the same token, because us single moms here, I want to be able to never ever stress or bat an eye about finances, especially when the kids go back to school, because they're getting older, they're getting more expensive. Good Lord, Kristen, I don't know how you do this with these older children, but I don't ever want to be stressed out about whether something happens, a field trip, because now they're going to be going, or they need new sneakers, whatever the case may be. I want to be able to just swipe my card and be like, all right, we're good. That's what I want. And my biggest desire, besides, wanting to just be, for me personally, I hate the word inspiration, but I want to be able to have other women that have gone through what I've dealt with be able to sit there and be like, wow, okay, I can do it too. If you can do it, then I can too. And the desire for me is to, one, be really recognized as an athlete. Lifting has been such a passion of mine for so long. And these past couple of years, honestly, because of me taking Thrive and everything else, it has just helped me in such a way. And it's really changed how I viewed myself. So for me, I want to be able to be taken super seriously as an athlete, and then even make a demo CD for my singing. That is my biggest desire, is to take my singing to a new level and my powerlifting to another level. Those are my biggest desires. And that's something I know in my heart, if I get out of my own way and not be afraid and just do it, it'll happen. And that is one thing when it comes to our deepest desires. And something that she said in the book was that we have to put everyone's opinion and feelings aside, because this is something that is for us. And it sometimes can be challenging because we have that tendency to be like, well, my parents would want this, or my kids this, or you know what I mean? And especially all of us, because we're all moms, we're quick to put our kids first, and that's okay. But when it comes to something that we truly, truly want, this is when it's all right for us to be a little bit selfish. And, sometimes people are so quick to be like, oh, you shouldn't think that way. But if we want to be able to provide and do things for our children, we have to be selfish. When it comes to some of us that are working out, Christy with her running, Kristen, exercising, just all of it. If we're not putting our needs first, then we can't run the ship. That's all of us. That's any woman that is raising a family. If we're just constantly taking care of everybody else, then we're running dry. That's the same thing when we say with everyone in the business, like, if you're not self-developing, if you're not taking care of your mindset, if you're not putting that armor on in your head to properly run the business or handle critique from potentials that say they're interested and then they say, oh, it's a scam, then we're never going to be satisfied. We're going to run so empty. We're going to be drier than a sponge, and we're going to snap. And that's not what we want. And that's kind of the same thing with our dreams and our passions, is we have to be so on fire. And honestly, that passion is going to outweigh our fear. It's going to be scary when we speak it out and we're talking about it. Like when I started talking about it, my heart started fluttering and I was like, okay, this is a little bit scary. But we need to use that as our fuel. in order for us to get to that next point, in order for us to seek that next step that we want. That's even when we talk to any of the girls on the tribe, when we're saying, if you want to get to that next level, your passion and your why should be so ingrained in your brain that it almost brings tears to your eyes. That's how we need to almost focus on it. A quote she said was, your life is your life is your own, act accordingly. Last thing we want to do is like be living our lives the way we are right now, kind of stagnant and just doing whatever, the bare minimum, and we get to this old age and we're just living life of regret. You know, think about elders that sometimes will say as they're getting ready to pass on, like, man, I wish I had chased dreams that I've always wanted. I wish I had did this. We don't need to do that. We should be allowed to say when we get to that age, when we're talking to our grandchildren or great grandchildren, and be like, you know what? I lived life so full, and I'm so happy with the life that I chose for myself, the life that I chose for my family, as opposed to saying, oh, I wish I had done X, Y, and Z. And that's kind of what this book is like leaning us towards. So the first chapter really was her just pretty much speaking out that we just need to not have that regret later on in life, wishing we had chased those dreams, chased those passions, and do things even if it scares us. Like show ourselves even if it's a little bit scary. And life is very precious, and it's not guaranteed. And like I said, let's not get to the age where we live in regret. And that's probably like the biggest thing that I think we can think of. So kind of a challenge that I would suggest for all of us to kind of do this week is to do something, share, and whether it's a post or going live about it, something that you never would have thought to share, and it might scare you, whether it's you talking about your desires and your passions, doing something sharing something about yourself that people may not have known about you. Like for me, like I've been more intentional, and I purposely share those TikTok videos of me like lip syncing and being funny, because for me, I am goofy, but I always get scared to share that side of me because I'm like, oh, people are going to think I'm weird. So I intentionally share those videos for the sole purpose of letting people know, like, hey, there's more to me than just always, being about Thrive, even though I share about Thrive, and there's more to me than just serious and mom mode. Like, I can be a goofball too. So I think the challenge for all of us is just to really speak out what we want. And I'm going to do it too, and it's going to scare me, but I think the more we speak out those passions, speak out those goals that we want to do for ourselves, it's that next step in the right direction. And it should almost make you like sweat a little bit when you're talking about it. And it might also make you emotional. So that's definitely something that I would think we can all challenge ourselves with for this week. I think it's a pretty simple challenge. It's a hard challenge, but it's very simple to do. But so then like next week we'll kind of go over chapters 2 and 3. But does anybody have any questions before we end the night? I know it was short and sweet, but or any comments? Hopefully I'll get better at this.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. I love it. I think that when we got out of like the captivating book or whatever, just because so much stuff was going on or whatever, it just gives us a chance to kind of connect on a different level than just business all the time. And I'll be honest with you guys, like, you all are my only friends. So, just being able to talk to you guys and, conversate throughout the day or whatever, just makes me feel good because all my friends dumped me. So, yeah, that's it.
I love you.
We love our hoops. As we're exercising in your hoops, I don't understand, but that's okay.
Because I went to Target and then I decided to walk after I was done. So I always walk with my hoops on.
Mommy, what is this about?
I love it. I was like, she's wearing hoops right now as she's walking. It's hilarious.
Mommy,
What?
what is this about?
I don't know. You're watching the Axel show.
Ashley, can you repeat the challenge? I was doing my dishes and I don't know if I heard everything.
You're good. So I kind of challenged us to share something, whether it's us going live about it or sharing it in a post, something that, whether it's our desires or something that we would never think to talk about or share with our audience, and kind of just do it, even though it might scare us. Be fearless in our posts, because sometimes I know we can really be good at playing it safe. I mean, I'm guilty of it as well, where we can get so good about like, let me just do the bare minimum and not get too bold and too, I guess, cocky would be the word, with something that we will want to share, because we get that fear. Because, and I know everyone's done this, where we'll be like, oh yeah, I've got this great post, and then we're like, backspace, 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 never mind, I'm not going to talk about this. And it can really, it plays with our heads. Like, I'll be honest with you, with everything that's gone on during these past few months, especially with, you know, the Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff, it was very easy for me to not want to say anything, because I was like, well, I don't want to like stir any feathers and like cause friction, so let me not talk about it. But I literally then was like crying to Kristen on text messages, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't be quiet about it. I was like, I got a son to think about and a daughter. And then I was like, and then for myself. So I will be honest with you, me talking about those things was probably the scariest thing I've ever done. And I felt like I was going to vomit after every single conversation I talked about. And I had people that then saw me at the store that I went to high school with. They were like, oh, you got pretty vocal. And I was like, yeah, I did. And I'm not sad about it. I needed to do it. I was like, I've got kids that I got to think about. Like, this is also my voice that I have to speak up for myself too. So I got good feedback, and then I got negative feedback, but you know.
That was like my picture yesterday, I think it was, of my stomach. I have gotten so much response from that. I've never had so many likes on anything. And I'm thinking, if you wanted me to show you my fat a long time ago, I would have done that if I knew that was going to work. Holy crap. But people are like, oh my God, you're so brave to put that on there. But you know what? It wasn't even about being brave. I wasn't developed enough to get that to that point. And I'm not going to go any further from where I'm at until I put myself through my push myself through my comfort zone, or you know, and get uncomfortable.
Yep.
So that's why I posted that. I lost you. I don't know where you went, but
I'm here.
oh, there you are. But yeah, so that's why I posted that, because it will get me to the next step. Like I'll start developing more, because I was stuck right there, and I always think, oh no, I don't want to say that. Maybe people don't understand, or won't understand, or won't agree with what I'm saying, or whatever. And I'm like, oh hell no, I'm putting it on there. That's how I feel. That's what I want to say, and that's that. But that just started in the last few days.
That's the start. That's all we can do. It's that first step. Oh, he is letting you know. My kids come back tomorrow. Don't worry. There'll be a rally of children behind me.
He's been a pistol all day today. A pistol.
Poor buddy.
My life. All right, just go away. Lay down, please.
You look
Oh,
fabulous, by the way, Christy.
What?
You look fabulous, by the way.
Oh, stop.
Thank you.
Right.
She's got cold. Not got the dogs attacking me.
See, you don't know how to work this remote. Case in point.
Well, if
I'm gonna mute myself now.
oh my goodness. All right. Well, if nobody has, Kristen, I don't know why you uncovered yourself. I was going to take a photo really fast before we hop off here. Okay, there we go. Hello. So if nobody has any other questions or comments or concerns, I'm going to post up, this will be on my YouTube channel, but I'll also share it in the group chat. So for anybody that wants to watch it, that
Thank
was
you for
unable
doing
to.
this.
Oh, you're welcome. So yeah, chapters 2 and 3 we will go over next week. So
Oh gosh, I'm gonna be way behind.
and yeah, so you can get it because I know, like I said, Kayla said that there's a no, I think it was Amanda said that there was a free Kindle of the book. You can get it as an audiobook, you can get it as an ebook, however you choose. I like the audiobook
Oh, I'll try the audio.
because I love hearing, because it's Kara actually narrating her book. So I love listening to her voice because I have her on the audiobook of her other two. So I really enjoy listening to her. So you can definitely get the audiobook, and that way if you're cleaning like I was doing today, because I was re-listening to the chapter and I just put it on the audiobook, so it's nice. So but yeah, but I know the book itself, she said that there's like notes that you can put in the book, but I'm like, I like to write everything myself anyway on a nice notebook or on my phone. So it didn't really make a difference if I had the book or not. I might buy the book, but for right now I like the audiobook. So thank you ladies for hopping on and listening to me be very socially awkward. This is my fearless moment, just hosting a book club. So this is me stepping out of my
You're
comfort
rocking it, girl.
So I love you ladies. Have a good rest of your evening, and tomorrow's Friday.
Good night.
Good night, good night, good night.
Good night. Love y'all.
Love ya.